director of the Institute of Advanced Virology. Doctor, in the state of Kerala, the Nipah virus has been confirmed for the fourth time. So the question in everyone's mind is there any reason, geographic or otherwise, why the state is repeatedly witnessing the Nipah virus outbreaks?
See, that is one of the major questions that everyone is asking. And interestingly, even after having all these four consecutive outbreaks in the state, there have been no long-term surveillance program to detect what could be the source of infection, what is the actual in human spillover interface between the bat Nipah virus and the human infections. In the first outbreak itself, the index case was we could not trace what was the origin of infection to the index case, and subsequently from that first patient, it got transmitted to others and caused a significant more number of infections. Second case was only one case which did not fortunately got transmitted to other individuals, but there also the connection with the bat source or the any other source which is infected, that was not established. Third time also the same thing happened. But interestingly, in the recent outbreak, the ongoing outbreak, there are more issues. Essentially, in the old outbreak, it was an encephalitic form of disease. But in the present infection, it is primarily a respiratory form of the disease. And the clinicians says that there was no encephalitic presentation. It was primarily a pneumonia kind of a presentation. So that also maybe one of the reasons why the first case was missed. So unless we know the index case and its contacts, its travel history, or maybe the behavior of that individual, whether they are coming in contact with these bats or the sources that is contaminated with the bat saliva or excreta, it is extremely difficult to establish why this is happening in this particular location.
Of the 4 outbreaks, 3 were from Kozhikode district. Do you think there is any particular reason like the geography or forest cover? Because we have so many other states, and even in other districts or other parts of the state, we are not seeing this.
So again, that question remains very interesting because across Kerala, if you see, the vegetations are extremely high. The geographies, most of the places where these outbreaks happened, and the rest of the Kerala, the geographies are almost the same. The terrain is almost the same. And interestingly, the previous study conducted by the National Institute of Virology had identified the presence of Nipah viral antibodies in different locations in Kerala, not only in Calicut or in Kozhikode. So this is going to be one of the major questions for us in the future. Why this is happening in Calicut, or why now another point is the strong element of suspicion from the clinicians there. That is also could be one reason, and most interestingly, the same clinician who identified the first focal encephalitic outbreak and the outbreak in the beginning, happens to be the clinician who also suspected this, or maybe the department where he was present. That was the department which identified the disease this time also. So that means there is always a strong element of clinical suspicion in all these cases, which subsequently leads to a diagnosis or confirmation of the disease.
So, are you saying that the cases are being picked up because of the continued surveillance in the state?
I don't think that it is continued surveillance, but continued clinical suspicion, at least in Calicut area, in Kozhikode area, where previous reports have been happening. So I think there is a strong clinical or strong suspicion among clinicians, or they are always thinking of a differential diagnosis of Nipah as a possible disease. So maybe that is one reason why this is getting picked up more so in Kozhikode. But when I say this, that also I cannot say that like in other places of Kerala maybe this is happening and we are missing out cases. That I don't want to say it that way. because unless we do a systematic surveillance and a prolonged monitoring of the cases, we will not be able to make to that conclusion.
So, in all these instances, we have not been able to identify how the index case got the virus.
Yes.
At this stage, the state has got Nipah 4 times, a virus with high mortality rate. What do you think needs to be done immediately and continuously?
Definitely, the answer is surveillance. And also, I would say that this is a classical case of One Health approach, which is demanding the situation. Because there is an element of human component, there is an element of veterinary component or an animal component, and also an element of environmental component. So all these three contribute significantly to the onset of the disease. So we need to do surveillance in the human population, in the animals, at least to start with, in the regions where the disease had happened, and also look at the environmental aspects. Is it like a particular season? Most of the time, the September month during this time this happens. So there's definitely there is a seasonality, or maybe it is linked with the breeding of the bats, or maybe a climatic condition, or is there any when trees or plants which are fruiting during the time which is being picked up by these when bats, and which is being taken by the human beings. So there are multiple components, epidemiological components that we need to look into to understand how this spillover actually happens.
So you think that there need to be continuous surveillance and not just
Yes,
when every
yes,
time there is
yes,
an
yes.
outbreak?
Yes, definitely it is required because most of the time in all these future, in the previous infections, what was happening was after some time our enthusiasm wanes, and again the surveillance is a costly affair. It has to continue, and when we feel that after some time we are not picking up anything that is interesting, maybe the interest, the overall enthusiasm goes down, and also maybe it is financially also like it is not immediately rewarding. So maybe there needs to be a continuous support system for these kind of activities. Yes.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Dr. Sri Kumar.
Thank you.